Good morning. This is a convening of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission, and we are meeting virtually. So I'll take a roll call. Good morning, Commissioner O'Brien.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Commissioner Hill.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Commissioner Skinner.
Good morning.
And good morning, Commissioner Maynard.
Good morning.
Excellent. This is May 24th. It's Wednesday, and we have met every day this week. I want to thank the team for preparing us and for my fellow commissioners for great work Monday and Tuesday. And today we have our agenda setting meeting. It is number 146. We're going to get started with our minutes. Commissioner Hill.
Madam Chair, I move that the commission approve the minutes from the May 10th, 2023 agenda setting meeting that are included in the commissioner's packet, subject to any necessary corrections for typographical errors or other non-material.
Second.
Okay. And has everybody had a chance to review them? All set? Any edits, corrections? Okay, Commissioner O'Brien.
Aye.
Commissioner Hill.
Aye.
Commissioner Skinner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maynard.
Aye.
All right, excellent. So we have quite a few things in our notes. We'll get started. Thank you, Grace, for keeping us with an ongoing calendar. And perhaps we need to look at that first so that if we have matters that are going to need to be scheduled, we have some dates in front of us. Right now, our dates are through June 29th. So there are some July dates that Grace is proposing, and then some August dates that we can go through. I know, Commissioner Maynard, you happened to be in the office yesterday, and you had some thoughts on perhaps shifting Thursdays. Do you want to go over that?
Sure. You never know when your musings are going to become thoughts. I think that I actually said that I liked, Tuesdays for the summer, and really my thinking on that has a lot to do with the fact that I can stay, work from home and do a lot of the reading that we do. And Commissioner Skinner and I actually talked right before this meeting. Reading these packets, sometimes we forget what is what, where, or I do at least. And so that was kind of something I threw out there, but open to other ideas.
And so that would be shifting instead of a Thursday. We obviously are meeting on many different days and we remain nimble, but if we were to go to our bi-weekly schedule to keep agenda setting on Wednesday, but shift our Thursday fulsome meetings to Tuesday. And I did think about that last night, Commissioner Maynard, thinking, well, I wonder how that would work and help the team too, if there's some benefit there. So thoughts, commissioners? And
that's my question. We have a sort of a working back from Thursday in terms of getting the materials in. So what does that mean for, if we do Tuesday, they'd have to get it in by what, Tuesday, Wednesday of the week before?
I don't think so. No, I mean, do we do Thursday to Thursday now?
Yeah, it's supposed to be in by, I think, close of business Thursday for a Thursday meeting.
Yeah. So
in my recollection, if that's particularly if there's a vote, so the commissioners can review that if they have to take some action. There may be some shorter memos or present that may be a little bit have some leeway. Okay, makes sense.
Right.
I mean, I think maybe I'll defer to Grace. My only thought is you always have to post the agenda, 2 full business days ahead of time. So instead of, we'd have to post the agenda the week before. Based on my experience, which was quite helpful in understanding the process of covering those, that means you have to do it earlier because you don't get that weekend.
Yeah, I think for the agenda, at least for the summertime, we could give it a try if the commissioners would prefer Tuesday. the only consideration in my mind might be legal, who tends to have the brunt of the meetings. And if they think that they're okay with getting materials in for Tuesday meetings, then we can definitely give it a try for the summertime and see if it works.
Can I ask what the significance of summer is relative to scheduling these public meetings? I'm fine with moving the date, but I'm wondering if we should think more long-term, because it is helpful to know that, every other Thursday we have these meetings and to be able to plan around them. So, if we are going to go back to Thursdays in September, it'd be good to know that, because, we're all planning ahead for things, vacations and holidays and the like. So I want to just make sure that we have an understanding if this is going to be for the summer months only. One, I would like to understand why. Two, what's the plan come September?
Well, I think it would be up to you all what your preference is on days, as long as the staff thinks they can get materials in on time for either a Tuesday or Thursday meeting. I think it would be up to you all which ones you would prefer. I know Lauren just had mentioned, Commissioner Maynard had mentioned the summertime, but I think it's your preference.
Could I just add one comment? Oh, sorry, from legal. Just to note that the regulation public comment hearings are currently scheduled for Tuesday mornings at 9:15. So there just may be the ones that are scheduled out now can't be moved because the notices have already gone out. So it's just possible that, I think it would be fine, but we may need to move some regs to different meetings if we happen to receive a lot of comments that we haven't had a chance to digest and process and prepare to present to the commission at a meeting that would start then at 10.
And how far out are those scheduled for?
They go out 2 to 3 months. So let me see what we have. The latest one we have scheduled right now is July 11th, I
And
think. Unless
so your
Judy, you
dates
didn't.
are-
I'm sorry. I was just
Your-
going to double check that Judy hadn't done anything for those other ones on the chart yet, right?
No, those notices haven't gone out yet, but they will on Friday.
Okay.
if they change to Tuesdays, would that mess you up, Judy?
I would just need to probably run the schedule again. Ordinarily, we have our reg hearings on a Tuesday, and I've liked to schedule them about a week and a few days before those Thursday public meetings, just so we can take all the comments that we receive and kind of bundle them and work faster. So it just may, like Carrie is saying, be a bit more difficult to have that quick turnaround between like maybe a 9:15 reg hearing where someone's offering comment and then come back together before the commission and give you all a more fulsome rundown of the comments that we received. So give me a few minutes. I can try to run it out and see what we could do. If that's all right.
Well, you don't have to do it right now because we'll give you but it sounds as though we could shift and it would just take a little bit of work for Judy and legal down the road.
Madam Chair, may I add something to this?
Yes.
I think we have all shown to be very flexible when it's come to our schedules over the past year. And I'm sure that we'll continue to do that moving forward. I am like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. I don't like change. And I like having our Thursday meetings. And to be quite honest with you, and I've spoken to you, Madam Chair, in July, I have a very special event happening in my life that's going to take me away between 10 and 12 days. And I worked my schedule around Thursdays so that I could be part of the discussion should there be a meeting during that time. And my family understands that, and will have a room for me when I need it, should there be a meeting during that 12 to 14 days off. So with that said, if we could keep it the same, I would appreciate it. I understand Commissioner Maynard's thoughts and actually may agree with them, but going into July, I've already worked my schedule around Thursday meetings.
That's fair. And it's his daughter's wedding. If you're wondering what he was gonna, like, if he was doing mountain climbing or something, it's not, he's not on a ship or on a boat like Joe was. It's his daughter's wedding and we're really excited in Colorado. So Brad, first off, Commissioner Hill and all, you know that it is okay for everyone to miss a meeting. And what I do truly appreciate is everyone's attempts to make a meeting, and we are able to because of the flexibility that the virtual platform gives us. And so I just want everyone to understand that there's permission to miss, and the majority can continue. With that said, Commissioner Maynard and Commissioner Skinner, in terms of, or Commissioner O'Brien, I'm fine with whatever works best for all of you. So if Thursday works best for Commissioner Hill for at least through July, how should we?
Chair, if I may, I just want to.
Why then?
Commissioner Maynard first, please, and then Commissioner O'Brien.
Sorry, Commissioner O'Brien. I just wanted to be clear. I'll pull the curtain down a little bit for a second, right? When we have public meetings on the end of the week, right, all the prep work goes into the front of the week for the commissioners. And so all the reading, all the thinking, all the meeting with the team, and then you kind of, the steam rolls out at the end of the week, right, after the meetings. I was just trying to reverse that. So there was no, Commissioner Skinner, there was no thinking on like, is this better for this period? Is it better not? It was really just me trying to reverse for the summer, when I'm doing my readings and calling the staffs and doing the public portion, which is, a lot of work on camera, right? So that's all it was. And so I'm perfectly fine with Commissioner Hill's proposal and whatever. There was just me thinking that for the summer, it'd be nice to switch the work around a little.
Even beyond the summer, to the point I made earlier, it's like, if that is what works best in terms, for staff, number one, and also commissioners, then I have no problem switching days. But, I also want to make sure that it works for all commissioners. So, given that Commissioner Hill is not available because he's planned his whole life around the Thursday meetings, as I indicated that we all do, I would say let's stick to the Thursday meetings. And if, come August, we're in a position to switch, let's do it.
Yeah, so my thoughts on the Thursday, I agree with that. I mean, I think if people have planned, we keep with that. I think predictability, no matter what the day, is going to be helpful for everybody. My hesitation with moving to Tuesdays is, my experience in being here is, despite everyone's best efforts, it could be difficult for staff to get things into us. And there are times when I feel like my weekend is already spent sort of crash coursing, so I know who to talk to earlier in the week before a Thursday meeting. My concern with a Tuesday is that it's going to be all the more so, and we're going to be cramming things in on Mondays to get ready for a Tuesday. And so I'm not real fond of the idea of Tuesdays in general because of that. I think the Thursday is a better cadence for us to be able to digest and talk to staff before a meeting and a vote. I'm not opposed to trying it, but that's sort of my 2 cents based on my experience with just trying to get staff being able to get into us, posting, getting the Thursday cadence seems to work a lot.
Well, going to proceed with Thursdays, Grace. So you've got some dates that you want to offer up. Commissioners, you may have some personal stuff going on. We'll try to just get these done, and we'll see if most of these dates will work. Grace, I'll have you go through.
Sure. So as the chair mentioned, our last public meeting currently scheduled for Thursday, June 29th. So just keeping in line with our cadence here, the next agenda setting meeting would be Wednesday, July 5th. I might recommend not doing Wednesday, July 5th. I'm guessing a good amount of folks might be out that week. So if that's true, and you all don't mind, maybe we double up the week of July 10th and have agenda setting on the 12th and a public meeting on the 13th.
Commissioners want to double up 12th and 13th that day, that week? Will that be better for probably the team for agenda setting? I think it might be more helpful. Commissioner Skinner?
Sounds good.
Okay.
And so sorry, just one thing actually on that week. I believe Commissioner Maynard is out of town on the 13th speaking at a conference. So might it work to do a public meeting on Tuesday, the 11th, and agenda setting on Wednesday, the 12th of July? And I did speak with Trudy, and I believe that is the only conflict on that week.
And if I have to miss, I understand.
But you're also going to be in a little bit of a different time zone, so that will be helpful, right? So that's the 11th.
So Tuesday, the 11th for a public meeting, and Wednesday, the 12th for agenda setting.
Do you want to start earlier, Commissioner Maynard? Should we do a 9 o'clock start that day so that you can be up earlier? Does that help you? Or
So I'm actually, to save a little money, I decided not to go in on Wednesday for my Thursday. I'm speaking on Thursday. I'm actually flying Thursday morning into Denver from Boston. So I'll be in there a good portion of the day.
Oh, okay. So we'll do a 10 o'clock start then. All right.
On the 12th.
I don't think, oh, wait, if you're talking about on the 12th, I'm wide open on the 12th.
Yeah,
And,
I think moving the meeting to Tuesday, the 11th, and having agenda setting on Wednesday, the 12th negates Commissioner Maynard.
Those are both fine. I'll be in Boston.
Okay, great. Thanks, Grace. Can we just go back up to the 29th?
Yeah.
That meeting, I'm going to take a look. I'm in the same boat. I'm at a conference. I'm speaking, I think, the day before. And I'll just check the agenda because I'm going to try to get to, the next day's stuff. So the only thing, if we could maybe think about if it's going to end up being a meeting, maybe a 9 o'clock start, but let's just keep it as tentative, tentative 10 for now, and I'll take a look at the agenda. Is that okay, everyone, if we possibly move that? Okay, great. All right, so we skipped July 5th. We're now 11th and 12th in July. Agenda setting, Grace, the next one would be?
So then Wednesday, July 19th would be agenda setting. I believe Commissioner Maynard and Commissioner Hill are both out that week. Commissioner Hill, I'm not sure your schedule.
I forgot to ask you.
Wait, hold it. So again, I have put Thursday aside for that week.
Okay.
Want us to do agenda setting right before the public meeting? We could do that too. We could do a 9 o'clock agenda setting and then move to a public meeting. That's fine too.
So there
What
wouldn't
dates
be.
Yeah, I might be, there's a chance I'm out that week as well. If we cannot have agenda that week and clear that week, that's safer for me. I can do my best to sort of be there remote to get a quorum otherwise.
Okay.
It's not in the calendar yet because it hasn't been.
No, we're trying to we're figuring out. So we could
Yep.
roll over agenda setting it because it would just be 2 weeks anyway, right, Grace? So we could double up on the week of
the 24th, you would need to double up then. And that should work because I think some of the other commissioners as well are out the week of the 17th. So then into the week of the 24th, we would do agenda setting on Wednesday, the 26th, and have a public meeting on Thursday, the 27th.
Grace and Madam Chair, apologies. Could I just get back to the last week for 1 second? Is there possibility for a meeting somewhere between the 12th and the 20th? We'll have 3 regulations coming back for final approval. The comment hearing is the 11th, so it would be difficult to bring those to a meeting on the 11th. And then the first filing needs to go out on the 20th.
So we have a meeting scheduled for the 12th.
Oh, I thought that was the agenda. That's the regular meeting?
No,
It's an agenda setting
It's
meeting.
agenda. We
Oh,
could
yeah,
tack
got
on a
it.
short reg meeting, right?
We could add on, does that work for you, commissioners? We could just roll over the regs on the 12th.
Works for me.
Great, thank you.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
27th, public meeting, 26th.
26th agenda setting.
Then we move into
August.
August.
So August 2nd, Wednesday, August 2nd would be an agenda setting meeting. And I believe Chair, you may be out on the 2nd.
Well, I have my son's wedding
Mhm.
that Saturday, but I think I should be able to, if we could make that a 9 a.m. agenda setting, would that work for you? Because I bet I'll get on the road after that. And then we're driving up that Wednesday, Grace, rather than that Tuesday night. We're driving Wednesday. Is that
Yep.
okay? All right.
So then Thursday, July 10th.
Sorry, back to, I thought we were in August.
We are.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
August 10th.
August
August
2nd,
10th.
is there not an agenda setting?
August 2nd, there'll be an agenda setting at
Okay.
9 a.m.
Okay.
If, just so that I can maybe get on the road a little bit earlier. Thanks. And then, and it's going to be really nice weather that week, everyone, just so you know. I think Commissioner Hill, we know it's going to be really nice weather in July too. So August 10th,
Thursday, August 10th would be the next public meeting.
yeah.
And you, Chair, may also be out that day.
I
So
think, yeah, and I think I'll be, I may have to have someone take over. It depends on the burden of my job that day. I will be the caretaker of 2 small grandsons, so, but I just don't know when that kicks in. I think it might be kicking in later. So we'll start, and it'll be fine.
and then Wednesday, August 16th, agenda setting. And then Thursday, August 24th would be a public meeting.
So I'm likely to be out that week or a good portion later in the week. Actually, no, I think, let me back up. Wednesday, the 16th, agenda setting.
Yeah,
Okay. So that's the week I have college move in for my daughter. That following week, I should be okay. Sorry, I'm a little delayed here.
does that work though, the 16th? Are you going to be?
It should work. It's agenda setting. It should work. So yeah, it's fine. Let's do it that day.
When does she start?
Not sure yet. She hasn't gotten her housing assignment just yet, but we do know that is the week.
Okay.
So, we'll fine tune those details a little bit later in the month.
And that's for agenda setting. We can always be flexible that week. Okay, guys.
And then I'm potentially out on the 24th, but I think you have a quorum without me.
Just 1 second. I have in front of me, your organization requires your device to restart.
Right
I would
now.
delay it,
Restart
Chair.
now. Huh?
I would delay.
I can't-
Kathy, that might be the BIOS, and it took over 20 minutes for me this morning.
You should
don't-
have the option to
The delay.
Delay.
It
Yeah.
says pick a time or let my device restart later. I'll do that one. Then it might actually, I'll pick a time. There, just went away. Good. Oh.
Just remember to restart it, Kathy, later, so you don't have to stuck with this again in an inopportune time.
Okay, so Wednesday, August 16th, agenda setting, Thursday, August 24th, a public meeting, and then to round out August, Wednesday, August 30th, agenda setting.
Okay, and Commissioner O'Brien, you were mentioning when you were going to be out, but I wasn't sure when that was.
So that 8/24, there's a chance I'm out that week as well. But I think it sounds like you have a quorum without me, so.
Right, or if you decide that you need a break from everything else, you can join the meeting.
Yeah,
It's like, I've got to go do my meeting.
lock myself in a room somewhere for the day.
Yeah, well, not for the day.
Right, or at the beach on my phone.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All
I
right.
haven't tried that yet. I should.
Just put earbuds in, kill the video.
I've done that, but not on a beach.
Yeah, fair point.
Can I get on record? I have a planned vacation that week. It'll be a staycation, although not sure how that will change given the fact that my daughter is moving into college the week before. So I am available on the 24th, as of now, because I don't have anything scheduled for vacation during that week just yet. But I'm just noting that I will be largely unavailable that week. At least that's the plan. And so just if you could consider that if we're thinking of moving the meeting to another day that week.
Okay, so let's, we could move, we could.
In other words, if you're just
21st and put it on August 29th.
Well, let me clarify. Commissioner O'Brien has said that she's not available on the 24th. So I think if there is any appetite to move the meeting for that week to a different day, now's the time to discuss it because
I'm out that whole week. So
Oh,
I'm
you're
out
out
of
the whole
pocket
week.
that whole week.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's-
so if you have a quorum without me and you need it, I think you just go ahead without me because
Got it.
I'm likely unavailable that week.
But I understand that's the same week, right, Commissioner Skinner?
It is, and I'm available, and so I can plan for the 24th. I just want to, if we're changing it,
No.
I want
I'm
to.
offering, I'm offering up because I heard that the two of you might not be available that week of the 21st. So what if we did August 29th? That's a Tuesday, and then we'd have agenda setting the next day. How's that sound?
Commissioner Maynard, it's Tuesday.
I got a Tuesday meeting in the summer.
I was just going to say I prefer it the week prior, but whatever the majority decides is fine.
I would prefer, wait, I can't even tell anymore. No, the 14th is fine. We could double up. The 15th and 16th, is that what you're saying, rather than the 29th and the 30th?
If we were to do that, we wouldn't have a public meeting again from the week of the 15th until September. So just flagging that, I'm not sure if that is realistic for the staff.
That's not what I'm suggesting at all.
Oh, what were you suggesting, Commissioner?
Yeah.
I was-
In the olden days, we used to actually only have like one in July and one in August if we could get away with it, but I know we're backed up right now.
I was saying I prefer it to stay the week of the 21st rather than go to the following week.
Okay.
Oh,
But I'm fine with the majority. I'm also available the following week, but you know, it's better for me if we stick to a regular cadence is all.
Commissioner O'Brien, are you okay then if we stick to the
Yeah,
24th?
yeah. It's just, I think once in a while, we're all gonna have to start missing once in a while to keep a regular cadence going. So if I am out of pocket, it looks like you got 4 without me, so that works.
Okay, everybody, let's think about what we'll put on the agenda for that day. Teasing Commissioner O'Brien.
No, I was gonna say,
No,
try to reserve votes on something if it's something I really want to be there for, but hopefully we can just keep the business moving without me.
yeah. we'll be mindful of that. I'm teasing, of course. All right. So it sounds like we've got a plan. And again, you know, it may also mean that we're going to have some extra ones. I am mindful of the fact that in the summer that family vacations occur and weddings occur, and so we want to make sure that the team coordinates well with Karen, and that our meeting schedule isn't so taxing. But we can be flexible and nimble to get stuff done. You know, maybe it's a half an hour meeting here or there. Okay, or no. All right. So we've got those dates in place. Now,
I already know the answer to this, but will you get the holdout today? Thank you.
Of course.
okay. So we're turning to our next public meeting, and I'm just going to keep on turning.
Actually, Madam Chair, before we move on to the
Yeah.
substantive agenda, I'm wondering if we might be able to start getting estimated timed agendas going
Yes.
forward.
Yes, yes.
That's
Grace
just
is
helpful,
going
I
to,
think.
Grace is going to do that.
Okay, great.
We've beat estimates this week. Monday was really a good meeting. So thank you. But Grace is going to do the time. All right. So starting with May 30th, that's our next public meeting. So that is next Tuesday. And we're starting at 10:30 a.m.
Yes,
And-
10:30 a.m.
Yep. And we're going to have our administrative update. Karen, I don't know if there's anything in particular. Oh, you're on mute, but there are a lot of hand motions.
Yeah, that's, as you know, I talk with my hands. I'm not sure we would really need it. I know this meeting was set up for the community mitigation fund issues, so we can take it off the agenda if you'd like, just to screen.
All right. And then we may have minutes. Judy, yeah? Okay. And we'll take up legislative update and regs. Oh, go ahead, Judy. Were you leaning in?
All right, I just meant to clarify, we'll have regs for June 1st, so the next
Oh.
meeting after that.
Okay. So no legislative update and no regs for the 30th, but we will have a sports wagering matter.
Yes, we will. I believe Fanatics had indicated that they have a small amendment to their waiver that we did yesterday. They called me in a panic yesterday afternoon. I should have that to you today. And then Sterl, I think you have a couple house rules.
We have 3 separate house rule updates. Each are approximately 10 minutes for timing. They are for Fanatics, BetMGM and MGM Springfield, and then the 3 licensees changes to the remaining for the credit language.
Okay. So,
Madam Chair,
yes.
can we keep the legislative update on the 30th? Because there may be something we want to talk about. We're not exactly sure, and if it doesn't come to be, we'll just not talk.
Sure. Yep, we'll put it down.
The budget's excuse me, the budget's moving quite quickly, and it's a possibility we may have some updates for you.
Okay. I only did that because I was thinking of it being a community mitigation fund, but we were expanding it and it makes good sense. Thanks.
It would be very quick, I can assure you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And then our sports wagering, and then we have Chief Delaney.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay. And how much time? I know we were a little bit speedier than we thought we were going to be the other day. Joe, what do you think?
Well, we have more applications in front of you this time. I don't have the exact count, but I think it's somewhere around 20 or so applications. I mean, if we did each one of them in 5 minutes, that's 100 minutes. So I mean, I would definitely plan on, somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours. I can talk faster.
Well, we want to give all the right times for questions and everything, but you don't need to talk faster. We will allocate the right amount. Okay? Grace, are you all set?
All set.
Anything else that's urgent for the 30th for the team members?
One other issue, I think it could be on the 30th or the 1st, but it relates to that 90-day audit that we've talked about on a number of occasions. I think we're going to be ready to bring part of that back to the commission for consideration and possibly an extension of the regulatory timeframes.
Do you like that better for the 30th or the 1st, Grace?
Do you have a sense of how long that discussion might be?
I'm not sure, Katrina, do you have a sense as to how much information there is to digest?
Well, I think there's two parts to it. Todd, the first part would be seeking the extension for the 90 days because we still need to do the assessment on the independent technical experts. And so we're still collecting data from them. So it really depends for that second part that we would be presenting to the commissioners, our findings, maybe a little bit later.
Got it. Yeah, so if it's just an extension of time, it's probably in the 15 to 20 minute range.
Okay, well, the 30th is Tuesday, so is that, and it's a holiday weekend this weekend, is that gonna be too quick for you all?
No, I would be fine with Tuesday if that's okay with Todd.
Yes, that works.
Okay, let's do Tuesday. June 1st is a pretty heavy legal meeting as it is, so we can break that up a bit.
Okay. All right, anything else for May 30th? Let's turn to June 1st. Okay, we've got an administrative update.
And Madam Chair, I guess the only question I have on that is we had discussed the COVID vaccine requirement, and I know the commission had requested the troop to get a little more information. I'm not sure we could get that in time for you to digest and then put it on for the 1st. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, what works for you.
Yeah, I think the 1st may be a little quick. For me, I still haven't been able to gather the information, but I will try to look into it. So we'd have to push it out a little bit.
Okay.
Do we have an agenda setting meeting after that? I'm wondering if we tack that on, because I see if we push that to June 15th, I see, Karen, you're going to be out of town, and I think that might be, it's a little bit of a difficult meeting for me. Because it's already ending up perhaps 4 to 5 hours long, and
yeah. One thing on that, Madam Chair, is that's the date of my flight. My flight, I got to double check. It may be in the evening, so I may be able to participate in at least some of the meeting on the 15th. So I don't know if that's helpful. I'll have to see how the travel plans are.
We could add it on to agenda setting on the 21st.
That makes it a little bit later. Well, what if we keep it? Let's keep it on the 15th. Would folks mind if we did start at 9 on the 15th? Is that possible for folks? It's my college reunion.
Yes.
I hate to miss any fun.
Yeah,
That worked for me.
Thanks. I'm not hearing any nays.
That's good.
No nays.
Yeah. Okay. I hope I don't. Let's keep it loose, Grace. I'm going to figure out that schedule. 9 or 10. Depends on that mountain climb the night before. Okay. Okay. All right. So back to June 1st, we'll put COVID over, and I do think it's really important to learn everything about IEB, from IEB, what's going on with the casinos. That was a piece too that Shruti, I assume you'll coordinate with Loretta. Okay. Legislative update, we're gonna take care of it probably on the 30th. Commissioner Hill? Grace?
Yep.
Okay, we can always roll it over if we need to. Minute meeting, sorry, Judy. Do you have a,
That will be December 15th.
okay. Then we move into regs. And hi, good morning.
Good morning. We can add Judy onto this one too. She's been leading the charge, creating these. We do actually have a draft. We haven't yet had a chance to circulate it internally. We can move forward with this, but I'm not sure it will have been vetted if we were to do that at this juncture.
Could you say what that is again?
Yes, absolutely. So these are new regulations governing the licensing process for horse racing. This is for the new track, you'll recall. I would prefer to be able to share that in-house before we move for commission review publicly, but we're not quite there yet. So I guess what I'm saying is that if we could maybe bump that one a week or three, that would be helpful at this juncture. But if we need to move forward with it, I think we can.
Okay. And that
That would be until June 29th.
June 29th?
I think we're very close. So that would be helpful if that works for everyone else.
Okay. And then, and the ADW regulations, are you clumping them all together?
Yeah, I think they're all kind of one suite. The ADW regulations actually are not being prepared at the moment. We were working on the license piece first, but they're a component of that. So it's on the list to get those done too.
All right. So you'll work out with Grace exactly what you want for the 20th. Okay.
May I just say, sorry, all the regulations are kind of bundled there. We do have sports wagering regulations for the first. And that's the data privacy regulation, and then 138, what we're calling sort of the auxiliary regs, 138, 238, 247, and 248. So those we do still want on the first.
Yeah. And Grace has that list.
I do.
And so that will be under just regulation for additional regulations, the sports wagering. Okay.
Caitlin, could you please repeat the sets?
Absolutely. So for the first, it will be what is now going to be 257, the data privacy reg. That's the main reg for discussion. And then we will have 138, 238, 247, and 248. And the very 2-second overview on the history of those is at a previous meeting, some amendments had been proposed, the commission voted on them, but we haven't filed yet because we didn't want to tie the regs up because we knew we might have some additional amendments based on this data privacy reg. So we're bringing those back for a handful of discrete changes. So those should, knock wood, be very fast. The main reg for that day is data privacy.
Thank you.
Okay. So sports wagering, we've got that standing item. Bruce, anything?
Earl, I think you.
Yes, for June 1st, when legal presents 247, we have a follow-up after legal presents with the form for events and wager approvals.
So the form itself for is it wager and event approval?
It's a petition that they can either petition for a new event or a new wager, yes.
Okay. Racing application review. Does that also need to be rolled over, or are you all set for that? That's the
I think that goes
application.
hand in hand with the regulations, so you could probably even take that off for now. I think we need to get the regulations done, and then we can come back with the application to make sure it's consistent with the regulations, but it's it's associated with the other one.
Dr. Lightdown, are you okay with that?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Then we have the escrow issued, Alex. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, Paul Umbrillo's asked if we could move that to the 29th. He had a family issue that came up.
Okay. And then we have the Director Vanderlyn, and perhaps somebody's sitting in for him today, or maybe Grace. He's at a conference. Is he all set for the patron license plate report?
Yes, they are all set.
Okay. And then we have the initial review of fiscal year 20.
Should be all set.
Commissioner Skinner? Hey, Commissioner Skinner, you're all set with that?
Yes, all set.
Okay, thanks, Derek. Okay. Anything else for the first from the team? Oh, there you are, Dr. Lightbound. Thanks.
Plainridge had a new veterinarian, which is considered a racing official, work yesterday. And so I used the delegation of authority to approve him, but that needs to come back before the commission.
Just to apprise us, correct?
Yeah.
Not a vote.
I'm not sure how that works. If you guys vote on that again, or if I'm just apprising you.
I think the delegation, we do want that memorialization of the delegation. Grace, that should be at some point on our list. I know legally you've got a long list, but we want to get that done. So Commissioner Maynard and Commissioner Hill, and Todd, can you remember under the delegation, she just can do it and then she just comes back and updates us. Is that right? Or is there a vote?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Well, I don't
That's
think we
fine.
voted. I don't think we voted on the revised delegation, so it would be under the existing one, correct? And as long as this particular matter falls within the original one, then I think it's fine. But I thought the way we left it last time we talked was there were going to be some revisions to that document and it would be brought back before the commission for a vote.
I thought we had a consensus in general, although I hear what you're saying. We technically did not finalize the vote on the final parchment, right? But I thought that we had a consensus. I don't think this changed that. It was just a notification on that. And then when they come up at the end of the year, right, in the cycle, Dr. Lightbound, you can say this, we then look at them again, but as you're going, it was just a notification, correct?
Well, I think I would defer to Todd, but I think the commission voted on the delegation of authority back in, was it 2013? I don't remember when. So I think that, there needs to be a vote of this commission on the revised delegation.
Can I just turn to Todd? Can you remind us if we actually voted and then said, could you memorialize the document? Or if we didn't vote, then we're going to memorialize and then come back?
If you asked me 10 minutes ago, I would have sworn the commission voted on it, but based on Commissioner Skinner's comments, I'm not that sure right now.
Can somebody check on that while we're going through this, so that then we'll come back to Dr. Lightbound's matter. So I'm sure one of the lawyers can find that. Of course, that'd be great.
Yeah, please don't rely on my memory.
Yeah, okay. And so for Alex, it's either going to be Alex, in any case, we're going to have you on June 1st to update us, and possibly we may have to ratify it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else for June 1st? Okay, let's move on then, and we'll go back. June 15th. Possible 9 a.m. start. I'll get back to everyone. I appreciate your flexibility around that. Administrative update. That could possibly be the COVID if Karen is available. Otherwise, push COVID to the next meeting. Meeting minutes, Judy?
Got them, but I was just looking at something else. Let's see. For the 15th, we'll have December 9th, December 29th. So 2 sets.
December 9th and the 29th. Okay. Then legislative update. We'll see if we need that by that time.
Yeah, we can be on for now.
Okay, great, thank you. And then we have our advertising regulations. We did extend that waiver out to that date. Is that, Caitlin, how it was left?
I think the waiver was longer than that, if memory serves. We're planning to bring advertising back. Give me 1 second, on the 29th. So I can double check that.
The waiver, I think, goes through the 30th.
I think that's right. So yeah, I think we're looking at bringing it back on the 29th. We will have other regs on the 15th. We're still working on them internally to figure out exactly what we want to bring back. So I can circle up with Grace on that once we've finalized.
Okay, so the 29th will turn to 256 and on that waiver, right? That would be the only issue on advertising?
At this point in time, but things can change. So we'll see.
I remain hopeful. Okay, so, and Burke, I did see that you have your hand up. I'll be right there. So regulations, you're going to swing back to Grace. I know that Commissioner Skinner, you asked for the list, but as soon as Grace gets the list, she'll be happy to distribute that list to you. I don't know if other commissioners want advance notice of which regs will be covered. But she can distribute. Anybody can ask Grace if she has it, okay? So sports wagering.
My guess is that we'll have more house rule changes by then,
All
but we
right,
don't write it this moment.
okay.
I
What's
also
that?
think
Go
that
ahead.
we'll have the lottery update for you by then, the 29th.
So what update?
The lottery update from the operators, the mobile operators,
Oh, good.
if you want it that day. We'll have it ready.
And so that will be from each operator?
At this point, I can circle back with what you guys prefer, but I planned on just putting together an overview report for you, but of each operator's activities at that as a status.
Okay. That may make sense initially, commissioners, and then we can invite back folks for questions. Does that satisfy you for the lottery update? I see nods. Okay, I like that approach, Crystal. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just on a reminder for the sports wagering, Bruce and Sterling, if we are bringing in members of the operators team, I think it's important for, I know that you're going to get the name and the title for Grace so that we can have that information in advance. It's always really helpful if our team is able to really be prepped and be able to answer basic questions without having the operators individual sort of have to chime in. The other day, the individual was wonderful and just chimed in, but it's always harder for us to ask questions of the operators team that we might ask you. So again, to the extent that you can anticipate what we might be asking and get yourselves really well versed on that, that's helpful, but we really appreciate it. And that gentleman was very helpful to us the other day, but it occurred to me I might make that suggestion only so that we can all feel really comfortable asking the tough questions of our team so that we don't necessarily make the operator feel unprepared. That's mainly my concern is asking. I'm never going to be, none of us will ever be concerned about asking our team members for something you can't answer because you can just, get back to us when you're prepared, but it's always a little harder when it's from the operator side.
Okay.
Thanks. Commissioners, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but just in terms of Daryl and Bruce being able to, you're going to get more and more comfortable with the kinds of questions we likely are going to ask. Okay. Then we have, before we have a couple more things, but and then I'll turn to Burke. How many applications for that final review that day, Joe?
A lot. It's like 26, maybe. It's all of the public safety. So that's quite a bit.
I'm having angst because it's going to be such a long meeting, and I probably should have figured out my day better. All right, so it's going to be long, and we've got quite a few regs as well.
There was another item in sports wagering as well.
The lottery, and then what was the other one, Sterling?
The other one, we would like to put a placeholder. We've had several requests by the operators. So we're hoping for the form to be discussed and approved on June 1st. And then the operators will be able to use our new form to request approval of new events for their for the catalog. So we're hoping to get that back by at least the end of the month. The request has been made informally now to us.
Could we roll that over the 29th? Sterling, do you think that might work?
Oh, I apologize. I thought this was for the 29th.
Well, this is for the 15th.
Okay, my apologies. We could do that.
Sorry, then I'm wrong too. I don't know why I thought we were on the 29th. So the lottery update will be the 29th.
Okay, that makes me start feeling better because this is kind of a communication meeting. Then we also have game sets, quarterly report. Karen, I'm wondering if we could roll that up. The 29th.
Mark is away, but I would, I'll take the responsibility to say that can be rolled over.
Okay, Burke.
Hello.
Hello.
I didn't get to jump in on the beginning of the 15th. I was thinking maybe a casino update and thinking about a couple topics. If it's the 15th or the 29th, whatever fits the schedule best, pending the other subject matters.
If we could, I'd like to recommend the 29th for that too, Karen.
That's fine. Okay, thank you.
And we will really welcome those updates. Really helpful.
Okay.
Thank you. Karen, I don't know if anything that Burke would want to do an update on might also require an executive session. So you can think about that as well for any kind of fulsome updates. Okay.
Sounds good.
So, Madam Chair, on the 15th, also legal reminded me, since I'm doing the first drafting on the officer succession presumptive nomination policy, really the only way for me to distribute it without violating OML is to do it at an open meeting. So what I'd ask is that we have that on just purely for distribution of the draft on the 15th, and then we can put the vote on after that. But that way, at least it can get out to everybody else.
Great. Okay. So right now, then, we would really have a potential COVID update, minutes, some regs, limited sports wagering, nothing anticipated for right now. And then our fulsome community mitigation final review, and I've asked for the game sense update to be done at a later date. That might disrupt the game sense folks, but given that I'm out of town and using my friend's bedroom, I am trying to, and I think there's going to be a line for the internet. I'm hoping it all works out, but I can also leave the meeting and have someone take it over. So thank you. I just don't want to miss community mitigation. All right. So now we're turning to the 29th. That was the other one that I'd be in a different time zone, so potential 9 a.m. start. Mentioned earlier. I'll be at a conference. So now we have, Burke will do an administrative update on casinos. Anything else, Karen, that you can anticipate for that date yet?
I don't have anything right now, no.
Okay, and then Judy, I don't know if you have your dates now for that. For minutes. And it's okay if you don't.
Sorry, toggling back to my large spreadsheet. We will have minutes from January 3rd and December 22nd.
Okay, before we continue, I'm just wondering if anybody found out whether we voted on the delegation or if we pending the memorialization. Were we able to track that down, Caitlin?
I think we have to actually look at the meeting to determine that. So we can't do it until we get off this meeting. So we'll have to do that after.
Actually, Judy was able to do that. There
Oh, she was.
no-
Look at
There
you.
was no vote taken. Commissioner Skinner was right. So we will memorialize
And bring it back to
and
us.
bring it back.
So does, I guess where the question is with respect to the task, and I think that was the word used in the delegation, does Dr. Lightbound have the authority to go ahead on that? And then two, if she does she bring it back to us, and do we have to have it for June 1st?
I think Dr. Legbound already acted on the request from.
Oh, you did. I thought you were going to do it. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yes, I acted on the request, and I'm assuming that under the old it was under the old delegation, so. And I guess the question is just if the commission wants to vote on it themselves when it's brought forward, or if you just want to be notified by me under the old delegation.
We'll leave it to Todd to tell Grace if we need to mark it up for a vote. Okay?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Back to the 29th. Probably no legislative update, but it is near the end of the year, so maybe, Commissioner Hill, we'll stay tuned.
I would put it on.
Okay,
No, we can always remove it.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
And then regulations, I know that we're looking at the 256.
Yep, I think we'll have at least two on that date. We'll have 256.05, and then I think we'll be bringing play management back for a final vote on that day. That's all I have right now. But again, sometimes things shift. We might want to add something.
We also added the racing regulations from June 1st.
The which one, Grace?
All of the racing regulations that were on an earlier agenda.
Yeah,
we just moved
yeah.
them.
Thank you. And then the escrow, right?
Yes, and escrow, yep.
Okay, and then the final sports wagering, we've got lottery update. as well as the form update for the event. Anything else, Bruce?
We could possibly have a couple house rules, like I say, by that time.
Yeah, okay.
If you're logging, it's not the form update for the 29th, it will be the operators submitting the forms.
Thank you. Really important clarification, Sterling. Reminds me, we probably want to revisit that reg.
Which I believe will be discussed on the 1st. 247 is being brought back by the legal department.
Is that the reg that will, that says that any person can file an event?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And we are planning to bring back a revision to that in line with the commission's prior conversation.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks, Sterling. Okay.
Absolutely.
Final review of the budget. Commissioner Skinner and Derek?
Good to go, right, Derek?
Yes, we should be good. And this is only the outside date. If there aren't substantial feedback, then this can go on the 15th.
I believe we were gonna keep it on the 29th because Karen's gonna be out of town on the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah, so my update, if my flight is in the, I'm gonna double check on the flight time. If I can jump in on the 15th, I can coordinate with Derek, and if we need to move it, we can move it up if I'm gonna be around.
And the 15th is the long community mitigation meeting too, right? I think, Chair, you were trying to not have additional items for that date.
But if it's, I think I'm hearing Derek say if there was something that really required us to address kind of comments, we would do that and we would make the budget a priority, certainly over me, Commissioner Skinner. So thank you.
I'm all
So we'll
for
just,
that.
yeah, thank you so much. We'll just keep that in our back pocket as our, and if need be, we could even go on a different date, right? If Karen is not available, we'll go on a different date if there's reason to not go forward on the 29th. Okay. All set on the 29th, everyone, or do we have something else to add?
I think we're going to want to put the vote on the presumptive nomination and rotation of officers on for that day.
Yep.
Because then we could vote on the actual elections on the 11th to cycle in with the 15th as the start date.
I had it noted, I didn't mention it. I mean, sorry. Okay. Dr. Lightbound.
The Jockey Guild should be ready for the recognition of them as the group representing the majority of the jockeys.
Oh, okay, that should be all set. Yep. On the 29th.
The 29th, yep.
Okay. Anything else, team? Okay. And Joe, you're anticipating everything done for community mitigation by the 15th.
I got my fingers crossed. I am not available on the 29th, so I am very hopeful that we
Are
can
you
get
going
it
to be on a sea, open sea somewhere?
I will be on my annual trek to Willoughby.
Oh. Joe and I share a love for a particular northern Vermont lake. You know, there's a cheese called Willoughby cheese. It's very expensive, but it is Willoughby Vermont cheese. So you might want to take that on your vacation. Maybe I'll think to buy some of it for you, Joe. I think within ethics, I could do that. Or you could share it with the office. There we go. The 29th are all set then. And now my notes are now to under review. I want to just pull the calendar again. So starting with the 11th, we've got, as Commissioner O'Brien just pointed out, Grace, we would have the vote for the actual officers, right? Commissioner O'Brien on July 11th? Yeah. Okay. So now under review, the IDEP process.
Yeah, that's still under review.
Okay. Encore Boston Harbor, oh, we have our June
So we-
6th.
Yeah, so we've got an additional public hearing scheduled for June 6th. And then at some point after that, we need to come back to the commission with, if you remember at our last meeting, we were trying to determine what an application is going to look like from Encore for like a formal submission on this project. So the next step in that is to get back to them on what we want to see. And, we put out that memo the last time. I've taken a lot of notes from our previous meeting. We'll hear what we hear at this public hearing. But I don't think, I would say maybe at that first meeting in July, we would do that. Just there's really no time between now and the 15th when Community Mitigation Fund has to be done. That I don't really have a whole lot of bandwidth until that's done. So, and I will be out that last week of June. So probably that first meeting in July, we could try to finalize a letter to Encore requesting certain information in an application.
Okay. Any questions for Joe about that, commissioners? All right. Finance Committee, Commissioner Brian?
Hopefully, when we get into the summer, I can start putting more detail into the smaller subset of the working group.
Okay. Mark, no, I don't think Bonnie's here today.
He is not on, but they did reach out to me. They're hoping to have that done at the end of June. So hopefully we can add it to that June 29th meeting.
Okay. And we don't have, well, that might be also when we have the game sets. Can you send an email to Mark and Bonnie in Long Grace at your earliest convenience so that they know that they would need to reschedule that with their Game Sense folks, please? And then Commissioner Skinner, the HCA compliance update.
Yes, please keep that under review.
Okay. We've got the recognition of Jockey Guild, we just put on for the 29th, right? So I'll set there. Certificate of operations, have we heard from them?
I've reached out to them yesterday. I haven't heard back. I'm going to call them next week to see if they'll give me an answer of an anticipated date. And of course, we have the other one that's for January of 2024. Those are the only two that we have left currently.
Yeah, I think I'm interested in hearing from Bally's pretty soon. The other DGC, they were very forthcoming about their timing with us. And when we issued the temporary licensure, there was an understanding, commissioners, if you recall, about their delay, and they explained their delay in great detail to us. I'm interested in finding out when Bally's is going to get going. So
The last I heard, Bally's indicated that they're waiting to get this new platform. And if you recall, I had sent out an article that they have a new platform. When I sent the note to them 2 days ago, I sent it on top of the article about their new platform and requesting some date or a quarter when they might start, but they have not responded to my note. So I think a phone call would be appropriate next week.
right. We're reasonable, but just wanting to understand, commissioners. I don't know if you agreement with me or not, but I'm just interested in getting them going if possible. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Event catalog additions, I think we're good, right? We've
Yeah,
covered that one?
that's still pending with, that's kind of an ongoing subject for us.
Right. But we've made a movement on it with the 2 dates.
Yep.
Okay, and the same with house rules ongoing.
Yes.
We also, I know there are some changes that have been adopted by one or a single operator that we decided should apply to others. I think if you could coordinate with Grace some kind of a process to do that in one sweep of anything retroactively so that we can get to the present, that would be really helpful.
Yes, I think we're doing that, like with the not accepting credit and credit cards and that right now. And I think we've heard from all the licensees, correct, Stroh?
And I think
Correct.
we acted on the credit one, didn't we?
I think we have 1 or 2 to approve, correct, Stroh?
So the credit, to my understanding, was included in the my apologies, the FanDuel one that was presented earlier. All of the operators that didn't have it were asked to change. They all submitted their change. It was not heard by the commission yet. And so the ones that have also submitted changes on top have been pulled out so that there's only 3 left that just are going to be an isolated memo with that slight change.
Do we have to, so the ones that adopted the credit language, we haven't approved that yet, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. Review of the risk-free advertising. I'm wondering where that is, Caitlin, because I don't see it as an under review with Commissioner O'Brien and Todd. I think that's something that our regular review of our regulation should be. That should be a matter we're working with Nina on, and that it comes before us for full discussion. I don't see that as being something that's separate and apart. I'm not sure why it's under review this way.
So I had brought it up at the last agenda setting, asking that we, the commissioners, have a conversation about what we wanted to do. We wanted to take another look at that particular language to make sure that our intent was being followed by the language. And so I think it was put out there because I asked for it and because Todd, being head of legal, was going to spearhead making sure that was ready for all 5 of us to talk about.
Yeah, I think I actually said we want to clarify our intent. I think I used that word first. And so it has been a discussion among all 5 of us. So I think that should be brought up as a priority, right, Commissioner O'Brien?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Where are we on that, Caitlin?
I think we need to have some internal conversations about that and figure out the way in which we want to bring it back and present it. There are a number of different sort of interrelated issues that I think we'll want to touch on. So,
it's interesting. I happened to see in our PowerPoint that was presented to us. Who presented the PowerPoint? RSM. And yesterday they did say, and it was in the public one, that the American Gaming Association's responsible marketing code for sports wagering states that no message should suggest engaging in sports wagering is without risk or utilize quote unquote risk-free language. Note the term free bets or risk-free has caused concern over if term is factual. While sportsbook operators refund the initial bet, win or lose, it's done so in the form of credits that can be applied to future bets. Bettors lose these credits, the initial stake is also lost. Some examples include this language within the presentation, as this is how they are and were presented online. So RSM actually addressed this in yesterday's presentation. I think, Commissioner O'Brien, my thought was that we could still have some examples, but have language that would outline our intent in the reg. I don't know if that's what you were thinking of, other commissioners. I don't know what you're thinking, but I'd like to get to that sooner than later.
Yeah, no, I would. And I know Mina made a comment that you could make an argument that our intent is in the current language. But I think we all agreed we wanted to take a closer look at it because we were getting things like win or lose, or, so kind of, is it skirting the language and our intent, basically? So we wanted to take another look at that particular section to make sure it was clear.
Could we move it up to our next meeting and we can all chew on it, even if you don't have the exact language? I know that probably makes you feel uncomfortable, Caitlin.
Well, let me just, if you don't mind, let me just add this wrinkle. This provision is in play in an upcoming adjudicatory hearing. And so I think we should pause on having that conversation until after the adjudicatory hearing.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I actually thought that public policy allows us to review something, even if it's in the course of an adjudicatory hearing, for good policy. Or
I think you absolutely, I mean, it's the commission's decision. I think in the past when this issue has come up, where there's been a reg that's been the focus of an adjudicatory hearing and the commission has wanted to talk about it, we have deferred until after the hearings. So that if we move this out until after the hearing, which is not that far away, I think that would be in line with what the commission has done previously. I think the commission could talk about the reg in advance. It's a question of what you want to do. Do you want to sort of have a fulsome conversation about a reg that you're then going to have an adjudicatory hearing on, or would you like to sort of wait?
Date of the hearing, Caitlin?
I think it's June 7th.
June 7th.
I think in the past, maybe that when we've decided not to, I don't know if it was the same circumstance where we were trying to improve our regulation. That's what I'm just wondering, because I know that I've run into this in the course of my career. So June 7th.
I mean, if we're being totally honest, I'm not sure we'd be prepared before June 7th to have to bring back what you're looking for. So it might make sense to put it after that, if possible.
Is there a way to at least get you guys to do a really short memo with the relevant section of the reg to us?
That would be great. For June 1st.
Just for, yes.
May 30th. Or, it would be great just to have it.
I apologize, Commissioner O'Brien. I'm not sure I understand the ask.
So when we brought this up the last time, my memory is that Mina said he felt there was an argument to be had that the language currently covered and therefore would have prohibited something like win or lose would have also been within that prohibition. But there was going to be a look-see at the language. Then it was going to come back if there was suggested tweaking. If we can even get the site and the specific section of the regs so that we can take a look at it, the 5 of us in the meantime.
Yeah, that we can do. Yep, we can absolutely do that.
And then June 7th is the adjudicatory hearing. So the next date.
It's the 15th.
15th. My favorite meeting. Were we looking at the 15th too, Grace, for the other advertising reg would be issue will be on the 29th. We could put into the 15th this issue. Otherwise, could we make sure that we are addressing it by the 29th, Caitlin?
Absolutely.
And my apologies for kind of missing that, Grace, on the under review. All right, 90-day audit.
Yes, we're still waiting on that to get approval of the companies to complete the 90-day audit. And that's in the works right now with our IT department and licensing.
Do we need to take any additional steps on that? Or are we okay, Todd?
It's coming up. We talked about it at the beginning of the meeting. You're going to talk about it in a week or so.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, the 30th.
On Tuesday.
Thanks. Missed that. I noted it differently. Okay, succession of officers vote. We're all set now for the 11th. The mission statement is something I wanted to bring up. I'm working on a working group to look at that, so I'll keep everybody updated. Another issue, maybe I should turn to the team. Anything else before we move on from our under review? Okay. One thing I wanted to bring up, commissioners, is I have the pleasure of meeting in person the executive director of Michigan's Gaming Control Board, Henry Williams, recently. And interestingly enough, in our panel discussion, I mentioned independently the need for gaming commissions to elevate the discussion around how we can extinguish or put out of business the illegal markets, and mentioned that it probably would be through reaching out to the Department of Justice, Attorney General Garland, and Executive Director Williams agreed with that, and probably at that point in time wasn't in a position to be able to update the group that we were speaking with about an initiative that Michigan took with several other states to send an exact letter to Attorney General Garland on April 28th. They issued a letter, and I can tell you the states that signed it. It was Nevada Gaming Control Board, New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement, Michigan Gaming Control Board, Illinois Gaming Board, Colorado Division of Gaming, Louisiana Gaming Control Board, and Mississippi Gaming Commission. And they wrote a letter addressing how they were urging the Department of Justice to prioritize combating illegal offshore sports books and online casinos. I know that we speak a lot about how we have to strike the right balance and the legislature had to strike the right balance in setting a tax rate, how we have to strike that right balance, and even looking at our advertising and other regulations so that our legal and regulated market can in fact compete with the illegal market and actually hopefully put them out of business. So today I just thought I would mention the letter and then have Grace circulate it to the commissioners, but I'd like to put it on for I guess perhaps our next meeting. It might be brief to see if and perhaps Mills could draft Mills had in mind a cover letter where we might be able to say that the Massachusetts Gaming Commission echoes the sentiments that these gaming regulatory entities set forth in this April letter. Something for us to think about. I had wondered if we should ask other states that weren't included in this. I think there's real valid reasons why these folks were working together. They've been regulatory partners for a much longer time in this sports wagering world than we have. And so they were working on this effort. And I think, other states may follow our lead, but given that we always operate in public, it's a little hard to orchestrate that kind of a group think. But I wondered if we might want to take that initiative and say we join. Commissioners, I'm careful not to get into too much substance, but I wanted to see if you were amenable to me putting it on the agenda for the next meeting. Commissioner O'Brien?
That's fine.
Absolutely.
Okay, Commissioner Skinner, Commissioner Maynard? All right, so Grace, I think you have a copy. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. I think you will have a copy of the letter, and if you could circulate that, and then maybe Mills Mills, I think you thought something very simple, and perhaps draft something for our consideration, and then we would mark it up and decide if we're going to put our names on it. Okay, thank you. And I did let the executive director in Michigan, know that was a possibility, and he was very generous to share the letter with us. Okay. There was a press release too, Mills, that went out with it. So the letter wasn't attached, so maybe Mills, you can pass around the press release too. All right. Incident reports for sports wagering. Bruce, is that something that we have to talk about right now, or?
Not necessarily. We have all the like patron complaints and things as far as the incident reports. Soon we'll have them in a new program that's very easily searched that Crystal had found, and that will certainly be available to all the commissioners to search if you're looking for a particular subject or whatever. It's something you can search.
So you and Karen will coordinate that with us?
Yes.
Okay, excellent, thank you. One follow-up, and I know that Director Lilios isn't here, but Karen, if we could just think about this for an upcoming meeting. We had an executive session on general matters about public safety, and we have a follow-up meeting, but we don't have that scheduled yet. So if we could think about what that, how that might work, and that would be an anticipated executive session. Okay. Anything else, commissioners, that you have under review or on your mind? Legal, anything that we're missing? All set? All set. Not seeing anyone with their hand up or a light on. That it, Grace?
That should be it. For anyone who added agenda items to the meeting on Tuesday, the 30th, I will check in with you today because we will need to post that agenda tomorrow. So I'll just need to work with you this morning. But otherwise, we should be all set.
Okay, I'm keeping track of, so that's next Tuesday.
Correct. Yep. The holiday on Monday.
Yeah. Thank you so much. A holiday on Monday, and we'll be right ready to go on Tuesday morning.
Actually, I have a request in that regard. Just when materials are being sent to Grace, I'm speaking for myself as one commissioner. I'd like to receive those real time. Just going into the holiday weekend, I want to make sure that I have adequate time to prepare. We've got what looks like a pretty hefty meeting on Tuesday.
So Grace gets materials from the team members and on an ongoing basis. Does everybody want her to forward them to you? The reason why we don't necessarily have like every member of the team forward it to every commissioner is because at a certain point in time, we can lose track as to what is the most current version. So if you need Grace to send them to you, just send her an email and she'll forward them.
We had been doing. Sorry.
Please, Grace, let this serve as the request. As soon as you get them, I mean, I know you're doing your due diligence, creating the package, preparing them, but I, for one, would love to get them as soon as you have them. And, I won't ask staff to go to the trouble of sending them to me directly. If this process works, Grace, whereby you're just forwarding stuff as soon as you get it.
So the way this used to work was once Grace got it, it was in a shared drive in a folder with the date on it for the meeting. And so we would have the ability to go in and check as well. So that if she wasn't, able to forward immediately or whatever, you would at least be able to cop in when you were ready to access it. So I don't know if we continue that practice or how it's being kept otherwise.
And that works too. Just mindful of, any additional burdens put on you, Grace?
That is my general process. As soon as something is sent to me, I add it directly into a shared drive folder, which I believe everybody does have access to, so.
Yeah.
And I can share those folders as well. For the most part, within reason, I do send them as close to as when I get them as possible. Obviously, if I'm expecting a couple other things in the next hour or two, I might hold it to save your inboxes, but Commissioner Skinner, I will make sure absolutely you get it the second I do. And there is a shared drive folder that has the materials in real time as well, which I can share.
Thank you.
Anything else? Commissioners, are you all set? All right. It all balanced out. We've got a few Tuesdays in there, a few Thursdays, and probably some Monday and Wednesdays and an occasional Friday. So it all full circle. I'll need a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Hill, it looks like you're ready.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Commissioner O'Brien.
Aye.
Commissioner Hill.
Aye.
Commissioner Skinner.
Aye.
And Commissioner Maker.
Aye.
And I vote yes. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.